Hey guys, it's me. It's Constance with Charmy Custom Crafts, and this is the beginning of many videos um, that I will be doing by either shooting by the hip with scraps, shooting by the hip with doing any kind of crafts. And then, of course, when I get to the design and cut in the next day or two, I'm going to be doing a lot with that. I've had a lot of requests to share with the capture mat, and those who are following me, I do have the capture mat, and I will explain how to use it step by step so that you guys can see it without because I know that Brother Scan and Cut um, Brother does not show it very well. A lot of the other applicants to the program that's online is pretty much the same except the capture mat. So to me, it's not much different than printing it and then scanning it in. This is just a little bit different when you're printing it and then capturing it. So I kind of wish there was a little bit of difference with that you can actually just import a picture, especially with the silhouettes. But we will get to that. I just wanted to showcase some of the shoot by the hips. I was starting to go through some of my stuff, and I realized, okay, my scraps are building up. So I thought, well, what better way while I was cleaning out my room and starting to organize it, and I still have a bunch of stuff everywhere because I'm starting to pull out stuff, that I have a bunch of projects that I could potentially do here. And since I have my craft show coming, I wanted to go ahead and show you some of the things that you can make with your scraps. Um, so I actually had some things here, and these are just papers from the very much retired paper, and very expensive now, from Graphic 45. I think this is Sweet something other. This one is a different name brand. But I had a piece of paper that was actually in my scraps that I thought, well, this will work. So I have that one that I can do. I have some words here that I stamped off to do some projects. Um, I have, and again, this is why I like to shoot from my hip here. These are pieces these snowflakes that I cut on one of my dies that I truly enjoy. They're metallic with snowflakes already on it. And then I sold the ribbon, but I have just a little bit of piece here with the snowmans that match. So I thought that would be kind of cool to do it in a different way. And then I don't know how long ago it's been, but I do have my gingerbread that I made with my Scan and Cut 3 or CM350. And I thought, okay, well, this could be used for something. And then I have this piece that I had fussy cut from a Graphic 45. So this could be fun. And then I have some papers that I've gotten along the way that I thought, well, these would be easy cards to teach as well, from stuff that you guys can find in your craft stuff or wherever you might find things that people will send you. So this could be a good card. And then, of course, I have this one. And these are stuff that people have sent me. And I thought, okay, well, this kind of coordinates with that. This is scrap paper, of course. And I'm going to try to do as many of these as I can. I have some leftovers from my zoo layouts from going to Tucson and seeing it when we were at Fort Huachuca. Though I did keep a couple pieces back because I have a layout or two to do still. But I thought these would be great to do a card with. Of course, I stamped out when I had my motorcycle stamp, which I don't know if I still have it. That could be good with a gray and black or red or whatever. So thought that was good. I had some leftover pieces here from a stack of pre-printed, and then I have ones that are printed, but they aren't. And it came in little paper packs or little stack packs. Then this is a card. I like to recycle as much cards as I can. And then I have this piece of paper that could coordinate. And I'm going to show you what I was referring to with that. I could use this with that and this. And that's another one. I definitely think I'll be getting to this one tonight. How much of this I can get to tonight, I don't know. And Mickey's deciding to get up on here. Now, I do have that yellow here that will also be used. And I use this for my husband's cards. And then I saw that I had some designer holographic blue paper. Then I have where my daughter had a birthday where it had Dory, Finding Dory from the movie last year. So I thought, well, we'll fussy cut that. And I know I have the punch for this and I had already cut it out. So these are just paper pieces and things that I keep finding. And then, of course, I have some leftovers from my husband's Father's Day card. You guys want to go back and look? I had the little paper pack that somebody bought. I bought that before I bought the large one. So I have all of this that I can have fun with. And I don't know if I'll get to that one tonight. I do think Dory I'll get to. And then the other one. So, and then I had some scrap papers. And then this was taken off of a card. And I want to show you guys how you can take cards apart. So I like to take cards apart that I don't like or recycle them. So I want to get to this one, but I don't know if I'll get to it tonight. So I'm actually going to put some of this aside because my room looks like a disaster right now. And I thought, well, maybe this would be a lot more fun. Going ahead and just doing and starting with the easier one, I think. The easiest one, I think, is going to be, we'll get to Dory. I definitely want to get to Dory. And this came off of a set of paper that if you went back and looked at my son's 16th birthday, you will see that I used a lot of those on his 16th birthdays because it was one of those little packs. So I'm definitely going to use these. I think I'm going to start with this one. And I'm going to get to these. I hope I'll get at least 2 of these done tonight. So I know I'm going to use this for the basic card because, 1, I have more of it. But 2, because of the fact that I have the dark color here. The reason why I said I'm going to use this color blue, and it was a scrap piece, that it pretty much as close as possible, because I love using my scraps, that it's going to match up with the camera in the middle. And then, of course, I have some yellow, so you're going to see that coordinate in with it too. So what we need to do is we need to even out these this card here, that which was cut in sections for my son. But again, and we're going to recycle this card. Sometimes I'll get a bunch of cards at the thrift stores or something, and I just cut them apart so I don't have to use stamps all the time. So we're going to start with this one, and I need to find my cutting board, which I think is right behind me. My room is an absolute disaster still, even though some parts look better. But this is the Fiskars cutting board. This is a $120 cutting board. And all I'm going to do here, and I'll tell you what, I use my coupons. I wait until they aren't on sale, and by chance I get a 60% off coupon. Now you can see that it's not clearly cut even yet, so I'm going to just keep trimming. This is one of those things that you're going to have to eyeball. You can measure it if you are OCD, which I can be. But when you're looking at pieces that are uneven cut, or when you get them, so see. Now I shoot by the hip when I come to this, and I say this because of the fact I'm going to come back to the cutting board. It's a matter of finding my tape gun, my ATG gun. But sometimes you can't cut exactly, and this is why I say that you fussy cut or you shoot by the hip. Now this is what I put aside originally for a card, but I am just going to leave it as is because I'm going to probably go back and I use every piece that I can. So I'm actually just going to use this and just tape the back of it, and I'm a tapeaholic, so, and it's balling up on my, I know a lot of you guys look at my video on my tape gun. So taping, there it goes, it's rolling out now. You don't have to put a lot, but I generally do. I'm not doing it for you guys tonight though. But I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Just a little bit of eyeballing, because you can be anal all you want, but these are what I call my scrap cards. And I can sit and make cards like absolute crazy when I don't have to think about it. I just happen to glance through all of this. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to trim just a little bit off the top here because I did make sure it was off. So you have to do a slight cut. So now it's got 2 different pieces, and we're going to put that aside because we're not going to need it right now. Let me take that. I'm telling you, when I get this all set up better. But I made a promise to y'all that I would come back and I would start doing some videos. And now that YouTube will allow you to go live, it's just, I'm going to be working on the room as I work. See, now I'm just constantly trimming to get the way I think it was working, because you don't exactly know exactly what length it is. Even if you wanted to, it's not going to be exact. So this looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to stick my cutting board back over for a second. I'm going to go back to the yellow, and I'm going to coordinate it this way. Now you can trim it down as you go, but at the same time, I try not to cut my paper any more than I have to because I'm all about recycling, repurpose, or using every bit of my paper. Mickey, don't do it. Mickey's up on my cubby. So I'm going to make this one just a little bit wider out, so it gives a little bit more dimensions. Now please note you guys are probably getting a better view than I am, so if I'm slightly off, sorry. So I have that done. Now I'm going to keep to this measurement because I don't really want to make it so big. So this will probably be one of those cards that you end up putting on. I'm just going to do a quick cut off of the extra. So I'm going to stick that over, and I'm just going to do another quick cut just to get rid of the excess. Now again, I'm going to go around the edges and figure it out how much I have here. Now don't think I'm getting rid of that scrap paper there because I'm not. Again, I keep every little bit that I can, and I'm going to just eyeball it. If it's better to cut less, you can always go back and cut more. I'm going to do just a smidgen, and I mean smidgen. Yeah, so you can see the little sliver. That's all I needed to do. I'm going to go down to the bottom and do the same. Like in cosmetology, we're taught to cut less. You can always cut more. Because you cut too much, then you're pretty much screwed. Because I had that when I was in school one time, and the lady had been getting her hair done at the place for years. And for the 1 year before, she was prepping for her daughter's wedding. And it was really, really bad. Because, yeah, some girl in school cut her hair, and it was only supposed to be a trim, and it was the day of her daughter's wedding, and butchered it. I mean, seriously butchered it. And it was awful. So I'm just going to take the piece that I just trimmed up, put a little tape on the back again. Now the card is going to open this way. So I already know at the top corner, you don't have to go down here. You can, I could do it at this corner, but I could see at this corner that it's slightly rolled. So I'm just going to go up, and I'm going to give a little bit more width to each side so that it gives a better dimension to it. So I have that. Now we're going to end up cutting this. Now this is why if you have a cutting board or a scoreboard, it's great. If you don't, you can always measure with a ruler. Now this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet that's left. And again, it's always better to cut less than more, and it happens to be perfect. Now, if you have a scoreboard, which I happen to, I have been doing this long enough, I have learned to have a scoreboard. If it's not exact, this is where the scoreboard can be useful. And again, shooting by the hip when you do stuff like this. So I'm going to have to stand up just a little bit so you guys can see. Because the idea is to get the perfect line right across. Now, if by chance you think this is too thin, you can always pull it out just a little bit more. Now you're going to, if you don't know what a bone folder or scoreboard is, you're about to. This is going to score right down on that line. Oop, it's shifting because I'm moving. There we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it, hold it down. And now we have the basic card. Now I'm going to go ahead. Now you can cut it off, or you can do a flip in, which I think we should. I think we should do a flip in, but I don't know if I really want to. Now, when you do something like this, and I'll go ahead and do this so that I could explain it, you want to make it slightly end smaller. So I'm going to pull it out just a little bit because it's not exact when it comes to this stuff. When you are doing uneven lines, and this is where I say I shoot by the hips. Now, just so that I know this, now if I want to measure at this point, it is 3 3/4, and that's what I want to go shorter on this, because I wanted it just a little shorter. So I could actually flip this around, and I can measure out, since this is 4.5, 3 3/4, I can knock it down by 3/4 of an inch. and then I can get rid of that. And if it's too much, again, you shoot by the hip. And I'm assuming it actually should probably be 1.25 inches. And I am pretty sure I'm right, but it's always a way to check it. So again, because this is going to be cut off, it's not a big deal. And I'm not afraid to show boo-boos. I'm not one of those people. And I just saw my bone folder is broke. No wonder it's cutting wrong. I know what to order tomorrow. So I'm going to double check that. And that ends up being perfect. So I'm actually going to cut on that line. It must have been when my cat knocked it off. Jeffrey, please stay out of here. My son wants to be a butt. So I no longer need the scoreboard. And this is just, again, if you guys are following, this is just shooting by the hips, or by my hip. And I don't know what I'm making until I get to it exactly. So I am just going to roll with the punches and just reusing my scraps here. So now we have, I know we'll come back to this. You're going to see me pull because my table's covered right now because I've got a bunch of different things that I got going on. So as you see by me going in and scoring it one more time, I have that little bit of an extra edge that folds in. So now I'm going to take my bold folder and I'm just going to go down on the edges on both sides one more time because now it's got an extra piece of paper on the inside. And I don't mind that extra shorter edge on this, and that's why I know that it is in line. Now, this is where you can get the ruler out. You have a chance that if you're doing this, you can actually put fixtures in this if you want. I generally will, Mickey, I swear my cat. Generally, I will leave a spot for something to write on with an information, and then leave 2 spots like this that you can put photos in, like if you're at the party and you can snap off, like I have the instant Polaroid. So we don't need the gray because we've already used it. So now that's some scrap paper I don't need, but I bet you I can use that. As I showed you, I do have that motorcycle, and I think it'd look pretty sharp on that. So I have enough to do a card with that. So if you can see, we did the yellow, but I really like the blue, and I want to trim that down. And I have this extra strip here of blue. Now, again, you will see how I recycle every little bit that I have. So this is where I'm going to do the yellow on this side, the blue in the center here. I'm going to see if I can grab some white because of the white here. So it'll be actually matted with these 2 colors, and then a white strip on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and pull and again, I'm shooting from the hip because I really like to go, oh, wait, what can I do? So again, this is the perfect ruler. It's the same people that make, I think it's the easel, which when I get to my next chair, my next D-stash, that I think I have mine up that I'm going to put up for sale. Now, it's actually, this is why it's so hard when you start getting into the 1/8 of an inch. It's not really, so you got to kind of shoot by the hip, because even if that, you want to go by this last line here. So it's actually saying, if you go by that line, it's actually saying 3 3/4. But you always want to go down at least a 1/2 inch so that you get that rim all the way around it. So I'm going to go by 3 1/4. And then, of course, this is showing to be 4 3/4. So I'm gonna go 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. So I'm gonna pull this back up. I'm gonna set this over. I'm gonna pull my cutting board back up. So 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So it is 3 1/4 this way. I'm gonna line that up with this line right here, if you guys can see. And I just cut that piece off, and trust me, we will use that. And then I'm looking at a 4 1/4, and my board needs to be cleaned. And then again, you're going to see me have extra pieces off of that. I like to use every piece that I can. Now, I'm going to show you real quick. Now you have that beautiful line all the way across. Now, I could put that on right now, but I do actually want to put white on top of it. Everything when you're doing crafting, when you're doing cards, when you're doing scrapbooks, I highly, highly recommend that you do white or matte, double matte it because it really does give more of a depth and looks a little more professional. So we do know that I did 4 1/4 and 3 1/4. So I'm going to go a step down on that. And we're going to go 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I know I have some white here. Yeah. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. So I'm going to take, I always take the shorter side because the longer side I can get more of it. So I said 2 3/4. And then again, 1/2 inch down because that gives that 1/4 inch all the way around. And then I had 4 3/4, so I need to go to 3 3/4. Hi, Justin. Justin had surgery day before yesterday. So now with putting this on top, you're going to see that I have another perfect lines all the way around. This is the only time I generally measure when I do shoot from the hip scrap cards. So I could actually go ahead. Now I wouldn't say that they're all going to be the same because of the fact they're different sheets, but if they are, we'll know. I got cat stuff all over me today. So by the way, today we were in Sharkzilla mode. Sharknado. We watched 1, 2, and 3. Tomorrow we're gonna watch 4, and then 5 just came out, but we have that one set to watch. So now we have the double matte. Now this is where if you're doing stamping and you want to put your own stamped phrase in it. Hi, Justin. You can do that. Me, I have tons of stickers that I try to use before stamping. So, and I'm going to go ahead and put this one down. Yes, Justin. Yeah. See, now we got the center. Now, you don't have to do the sides. I tend to do it because it looks a little better. Now, this is all scraps except the white. Yes. So, what? You can come say hi. I'm going to go ahead and measure this one. So, it's coming close to about the same. So, it'd be like 3 3/4. Hi, buddy. By Justin wants to say hi. He is not a happy boy. Hi, honey. You say hi. Justin has that cat virus, gum virus, and we found out right after we moved in here. And the only resolve to it is to remove the teeth, which means instant stay in the house all the time, which is why he's going crazy because he had 11 very healthy teeth removed. As a matter of fact, the vet said, yes, Justin, the vet said that out of all the patients she's ever had, those are the most difficult teeth she's ever taken out. She actually had to drill them out. And normally surgery would be about 30 minutes. It actually took them 2 hours. Poor little baby was unsure. When I picked him up, it was so funny. I'll tell you why, because he was so drugged. I mean, you feel bad for him, but I've never dealt with an animal so drugged. And he looked, I'd say he'd be tripping his balls off, but the boy don't have any, he's been, oop, yeah, you did it. You yawned. But he doesn't have them, obviously, because he's been fixed. But all he needed was some Bob Marley music, one of the black lights with the black light illusion posters, and just sitting there with a little beanie on his head. I mean, I was cracking up laughing. So anyway, we're going to go back to this, and I'm going to get back to Justin again. I'm sure he'll be up on me again. So we know that we're just going to kind of guesstimate that if it's too small, then it doesn't really make a big deal, especially when you can just do a step down on both sides of the side measurements. So I just go this way, and I just go, okay, well, it's close to that. So I said 4 3/4, and I believe I said 3 3/4. That was actually shown about 3.5, but we're going to cut it first. Sorry. We're going to go ahead and cut it. Better to cut it big and then long. So I always go a 1/2 inch down, or yeah, 1/2 inch down. Now my ruler's in the way. I cannot wait till I get this. I had it all cleaned off, and then I started reorganizing everything because I just moved into this room. And I haven't had an actual full room, unless you count my formal dining room and breakfast bar area and part of my dining room. eat-in kitchen. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off these extra pieces too. But again, I try not to cut them until I have to. This is why I don't do exact cuts on them, because one, they're in the rain. Two, I try not to use, and I usually keep some of that stuff to actually punch. So I said, I'm going to cut this way because it's the wider one, 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. So I think it was. Of course, you can always lay it up here. I'll double check it real quick. It was 3 3/4, but I'm going to go 3 1/4 if I can find the 3. I hope you guys can still see me. Okay, so I have that. Now we're going to just double check if we got a good width, and we do. And if you always want to double check, even though you've already got the measurements, I'm going to go 4 1/4. I love the texture side, so I'm going to, when I put it down, it's going to be the texture side up. So my mother-in-law's like, you need to have your own show. I'm like, it has been so long since I've done videos on teaching. And like I said, I love the fact that, and if you guys can see, and of course, I'm not going to put it down until we have a white piece. You want to kind of wait until you have all the layers. And you'll see how it coordinates really well. Because if you leave it like this, it's just going to look eh. And all it takes is an extra minute of your time. So as I said, 3 3/4 is what I had. So I'm going to go with 3 1/4. And 4 1/4 because it was 4 3/4. Sometimes I have to write that down because sometimes I forget. Now I don't need that piece of yellow now, but I may end up using all these little scraps. So I'm going to put this over, and I'm going to leave this over so you guys can see this for just a second. And it's going to fit in perfect. And I think we'll just add in a little photo corner on one side or the other. And like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just going to sit and work this out. But since it was 4 1/4 and 3 1/4, we go down another, this might actually be good. 4 1/4 and 3. Now this one's already, see, I use my scraps all the time. So this is already 2 3/4. And I said 3 1/4, I need to go 2 and 4 3/4. 3 1/4, 3, yeah, 3 1/4. Nope. 4, 3 3/4. If I'm wrong, that's the reason why I use scraps. Even I screw up. Everybody screws up, but I call them happy mistakes. Now, see, that works. See, that was a scrap piece from my first original cut. So, and again, if you don't know, you can always go back to this and you can measure. So we know that we are 2 3/4, which is 2 3/4 inch. And since this is already more of a square, I'll just stick that over because I'm not going to need the rest of that white. Not for this one. And then we're going to go 3. You always go down a 1/2 inch unless you want a very fine line around the edges. So I'm pretty sure that is okay. Damn cat hair. I love my cats, but damn. Okay, so we have that. See, and this is all shooting by the hip here. This is why I try to get everybody on my Facebook page to share, because I could sit and do more of this. And I could always share what I already have. No, I just broke my own rule, but it's all right. I'm trying to line it up. It's laid down. I usually put all the matting together at one time. I have another roll of tape. I need to order some. I told my husband, I said, I need to order a box. Not a box of 2, literally a box. Because I fly through tape like it's water. And a lot of people won't put a lot of tape on, but I do. When it comes to paper, I avoid using kind of glues because the glues can make it bubble. Especially if maybe you're using your heat gun, it definitely will. So I know I made like the old mirrors, or the mirrors that actually has the front, middle, and side, but the back doesn't move. Kind of like a medicine cabinet. So now you can see how much it looks better by doing that. So again, if you were watching, this is the scrap card, the scrap piece that I had from a layout. Now, of course, I can use this if I want to, but the ideal is it's too long. So I'm actually going to do something you guys probably have never seen, and if you aren't a crafter with paper, you'll understand why I do this and why I don't. Now, this is actually where I will pull in a little bit of glue. Now, I can use my scraps for this one, or with the blue, or I can just use gray, which, to be consistent, it depends on how much gray I have. I can cut a little bit off the edge of this one because it's not going to need the whole thing for a card anyway. Now, generally when I do photo corners, I actually do 1 inches cut by diagonal. And this is not going to be any exception, only because the pictures that you're going to put in there need more of an edge. So I'm actually going to cut the width of the length. So if you look, the 1 is always right here at the edge. So I'm just going to make sure it's lined up, and it always can line up here. Now, that was Mickey. I do either 1 inch or 2 inch, and this one, because it's smaller, I'm only going to do 1 inch. Because they're going to be small. It's a small card. So I'm going to go ahead and cut one. I'm only going to cut enough for 2 sides, not all of them. I do get quiet when I'm thinking sometimes. If I think, then it's a problem. Now, I'm only going to see if I do 4 corners. I have to think here. Do I want to do 4 corners, or do I want to just do 2? Let's just do 2 corners, because I think that'll be enough. Yeah, I really don't want to do 4, but I don't know if it'll look right. I can just go ahead and prep them. Just in case, better to be a little, because see, when I start thinking, then I get into too much details. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I can make, there was one day I made like 50 cards in like 3 hours. And that is because of the fact when I think, it takes me too long. When I don't think, it's not a problem. Now, normally if I do a 2 inch square, that I would diagonally cut it on my machine or on my cutting board. But, and again, if you have a cutting machine, you can do that. But at the same time, you can use a scoreboard. Or if you don't have that and you just want to get things done, you just fussy cut. And again, it depends on what you have. When I started, I didn't have jack shit, honestly. And no, guys, I'm not afraid to say cuss words. So I am straightforward, honest, and I can bullshit you, but bullshit you with the best of them. I'm an upfront, honest. Not a lot. I hate liars. That's my absolute biggest pet peeve. Second thing from that is crusty kids' noses. I don't give a shit whose kid that is. I will down your damn kid and clean that nose out because it drives me crazy. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to sit and I'm going to find my glue. I haven't pulled my glue out, so it's probably in different places. So I may just pull out. Oh, yeah, I got a glue here. If I can get it off, it's a brand new one. I don't feel like digging. This is one Martha Stewart. Yeah, this one. No, it's a Martha. Yeah, it's a Martha Stewart one. I'm not sure I'm a fan of her glue because it's really expensive. I really can't stand Martha Stewart, but she makes a mean scoreboard, and her punches are amazing. I am a wheel tail fanatic, and that is because it's easier for me to use. So now we have these corners. Now, whether or not I want to put them on the inside or on the outside, I actually do not want to touch the gray. So I'm gonna make sure this works. Use my white here, though it's gonna be hard to see. Let's use this little scrap piece here. It's a new one. All right, because this actually will dry pretty quick. So I'm gonna go to my little pieces here. And I just want to go along the edge, and I'm gonna let it sit there for a second because then it'll start drying a little bit. I do 4 of them to start with, and you'll see the glue. The glue comes out blue, or like a blue, and as it starts to dry, it'll actually turn clear. And you only want to do, you don't want to do the angle. So that's already enough for 4 or for 1. I guess I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to take the plunge and put it on both sides. So, I mean, you can use this for a card, or you can stick this at your work, your office. I'm going to let those sit. If my head pops underneath, I apologize. See, I know they're starting to dry, and it will stick better. And I have my fan on high. And that's because for some odd reason, even with the air in this house, it gets hot in this room. I think it's because it's the only room in the house that has a window directly facing the sun, no matter which way. So it is actually starting in a different place. It's starting to dry better. So, and I don't know where my tweezers are. You'd think I have all my stuff around me. I need to put that over there because I need to go sew some of my stuff together. You know what? No, because I was using my metal needles. I have some knitting projects going on. Where are my tweezers? I tell you what, I probably have 8 pair of them floating around. So again, I apologize. I just moved into this room and I'm still looking for stuff. So it would probably be a while. So working on some live videos. Oh, Justin, Mickey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, where'd you put? Okay. See, now that's what happens when you have cats coming in the room. Tweezers. Bada bing. So if I can get it to pick up. See, every time, Mickey, keep your damn paws. All right, well, forget it. I'll just grab it with my fingers. It flipped. Damn cat. I love my cats, but damn. Hair. Mickey, I swear to God, Mickey. All right, so I'm going to just put it in this corner here. Line it up with the white edges. I love how this turns out. Now, there are dies and stuff that you can use to do the photo corners and then flip it underneath. But when you're in a hurry and you're doing a scrappy, it's just, what? Yeah, I hear you. I think everybody does. It's listening, honey. What? I know. Do you need some more pain medicine? If you need some, yeah, I'll get you some more. Yeah, he wants out. Doc says 2 weeks. Now, before you go on to the next one, you want to make sure you don't see any white, only because of the fact once it's now down, it's not movable. So this is why I say you can use your machines, but I teach in every way you can think of. I teach with no money. I can go into your house and go through your junk drawers and probably make you a small craft room out of it. Oh, woe is Kitty. Yeah, woe is Kitty. You had medicine not long ago, buddy. Oh, yeah. You see, I'm just making this up as I go. This is why I like to shoot from the hips. So now you have, and this is all from scraps, and then when it dries here in a few minutes, you'll be able to tuck in some pictures. And so far we have a pretty decent card or photo card. One thing about the glue, I hate it around my fingers. So I'm going to stick this back down and my tweezers back down because my table can get cluttered fairly quickly. Now you can leave it like this, or I don't think I have anything currently anywhere around me. Maybe I do. These are too big. I know where they're at. I always keep a basic pack of phrases and stuff in my with my inkwell stuff. So this is my basic supply. Very, very basic. And I better have my other one in here. Is my birthday one in here? If anything, we got "You're the Best," "Happy Birthday," "Thinking of You," "Get Well Soon." Let's see if we get the smiley face. That's the sun. Don't want to get well soon. Where's the heart? There's the happy birthday one. Is that the one with the candle? Yep. These are the basic set that I keep out in case that I'm making quick cards. So I do have tons of stamps, but I always keep a basic set. Put that over for a second. And then I always keep my inks. I have these drawers. Again, when I get a chance, I will show you how this is all set up, but I'm not quite ready to re-show everything. So I have some Distress inks by Tim Holtz. Now, the bad thing about these are not permanent. And do I have black on this? I don't think I have a gray and StazOn, which I'm a huge fan of StazOn. There's archival, but hi, sweetheart. You guys are going to drive me crazy tonight, aren't you? I think that's a sage. You're a brat. Yes, you are. Wonder if weathered wood would work. It's pretty close. Yes, Justin. Yes, Justin. Weathered wood is good enough for me. We will test it out on a scrap piece here, of course. My ink may not always work, so I have to always test. Always test. Otherwise, you can. That works pretty well, but then it was on the edge here. So I'm going to do it again that's flat. Oh, it's bleeding a little bit, which means we're going to push it down again and keep trying until we can know that it's getting totally covered, because this one hasn't been used yet. I don't know where the other one is that's missing. So you can see that it's coming down more. It's a new stamp, so. And my ink is probably drying because I don't use these very often. That looks pretty good. So I am going to ink it right up in here. My son wants to be a brat. He doesn't realize that I'm live. Just guesstimate. Put enough pressure. Make sure when you pull it up, you pull it directly all the way up. And then there's the card. At least for that, I can always add glitter. I'm famous for my glitter glue. To add that extra little oomph. Just the oomph. We need some oomph, right? It's got to have a little bling to it. Just a little bit. And then before I start another card, yes, Jeffrey, what would you like? Before I start another card, I'll put stuff away, and if I need to go back to it, I will and pull it back out. Now, I always just put my signature on the back. Now, I could have done this one too. I have just chosen not to for this video. Now, you can see the design in here. Now, the one thing you want to do is you want to make sure you test this. And this has been sitting, so it needs to be shaken, not stirred. I know, I'm corny. I was teasing my husband about certain things today because of watching Sharknado. And there's so many puns in it. I kept telling him, I said, you got to watch it. It's stupid, but the puns going to movies and books are just absolutely right. Okay, so now it's coming out right. Now you got to be careful how you go and just go really quickly, because if you think about it, you're going to go over the lines more likely anyway. The idea is just to do enough to sparkle. You don't want it. Oop, see, it was watery there. That's where I said about shaken, not stirred. And we'll go down to the 6. Again, guys, this is my scraps. I will do one more tonight. I really want to do that Dory one. And if you feel like it's clogged, I actually keep my stick pins that I make. At least one, but nearby, and the other one's not far. Always use that sample sheet there, a scrap sheet. I've got the 2 edges, but I want to make sure. Now, this is a camera, of course, and it's got the flash right here. So I'm actually going to burst that out, do something a little different, but something that you can definitely see. Let the flash hit, and then of course I gotta do the little heart here. And that is my card. Photo card 16. I'm gonna let this sit over and dry, and we will do one more card for the night. How about that? So I'm gonna set this over. I have this, and normally I would stick it down totally in it, but I think I can stick it down on the edge, and it'll be all right. So I'm gonna stick this over. And if you guys want a breather, take your breather, because I'm going to go ahead and start putting some of this stuff that does not need to be out away. So I play music, but YouTube is pretty anal about stuff anymore, which kind of sucks. So I know by looking at what I have in front of me, I don't believe that I'm going to use that yellow again. The gray I will. The Nemo one is what, or the Dory one is the one I want to use. Oh, that one's a Disney print or Disney wording, so I'll definitely use that. I'm going to keep the sample. I'll probably end up using the white. So we're going to go and put this one over. I said I really wanted to do the Dory one tonight. You guys pick through what's here of what I've posted so far, and you pick out what you want me to do in the next video. And I'm going to try to do at least a live one every night, but I will start to plan one where you guys do the theme or the type of project. Now, I'm a very beginner sewer, but I am a loom knitter. I started that in January, and I have just totally taken off on it. I'm digging that yellow with that Dory. I can always get another scrap piece. Totally loving this. I will come back to that, I'm sure. Let's see, I get these little freebies in the mail for different things that they're trying to get me to subscribe to. So I always keep them because right there is, if you don't know, that is Disney font. So it says, may somebody be kind to you as you were to me. Thank you so much. So Dory's going to have a great day. Before I even get into cutting all of this, we're going to stick that over, and I'm going to throw away this scraps because I have a lot of it. Normally I don't, but only one piece really is good enough to cut here or punch out. Like this piece I use for like punching paper. Okay, so we need to fussy cut Dory. And again, this was a banner decoration. So just so you know, if you're fussy cutting it, and this is what fussy cutting is called when you're cutting something out, just by hand, never, ever let go of the paper with your hand, because that's when you get the weird edges. Always have control with one hand or the other. I gotta go up a little bit. See, I'm coordinating my fingers together. Okay, I'm getting a little quiet on you, sorry. See, if I'm not holding it with one, I'm holding it with the other. So if I move my left hand, I'm holding still on my right. Keep your scissors to where it's just cutting. Don't keep opening and close them, because again, that's when you're going to get the bad crooked edging. You see me not lifting the scissors. Gotta learn how to nip and tuck right. Now I'm going to leave that right there, and I'm going to pull this around a little bit. This is where it can get fuzzy because you've got like black edging. If you don't get it all, you're not going to really see it anyway. Now, I do this stuff all the time. I haven't done cards like this in a while. Now, you see me sliding it, not lifting it. Just slowly shifting it around. I'm not going to say this is perfect. Now, when you get to a corner like that, you can snip it. So you can see how nicely lined up that is. No sharp edges. So now I can go in and I can actually cut to that edge and then cut it off. When it comes to corners, it's perfect for that, if you're not quite sure. So I got that piece. We just want dory. We don't want what's around it because dory is going to be the main feature with what we put around it. Those you can see, you're going to see the seaweed there. And this is a vine punch piece, and I always try to cut some of that stuff out prior to doing any scrap projects or even projects that I might need that for. That's why I will save my paper. I keep saying that I'm going to sell my scraps, but I'm telling you, I just sit down and go, oh, well, crap, I could do this, or crap, I could do that. Now, I can't take this off, and you notice I didn't move my scissors, that I can't take that off, but it's going to come in handy one way or another. It's going to be blended in. So we got to go over her front fins. I'm going to curl. Cut. Now, when you get into this piece right here, and I actually put this over somewhere, I had my X-Acto. This is the recollection one. So I'm going to go in gently. Now, guys, you're at my forehead, so I may or may not be slightly off. I usually have the cover on it. I don't know what happened to it. If you're slightly off on the coloring, don't worry about it because it's going to blend in when I get done. In my mind's eye, I've got an idea of what I'm doing. But again, it's all shooting from the hips. It's plain as I go. I got all the edges except maybe the corners. Now, this is what I recommend. And make sure that you're in that area. Now be careful that you just stay slid around that. You don't puncture it any more than you already have. Because now I can set the X-Acto. And I can make sure those edges are completely cut. And see, it's just slightly cutting. It's coming right off. Now, if it's going to tear, it's going to tear from underneath, which is what you don't want. That's what you want. You don't want it to tear from above. See, without looking, I know that that piece is going to be a problem. Because it's the top layer there. Now we got a perfect dory. Now, everything now is about having fun. So dory is obviously blue and yellow and black. And then we have the water here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a black piece of paper. And I'm pretty sure I have one right here. That's blue. Now I'll have to get up to my bends here. Oh, I know I do because I have my 12th here. I was finding stuff as I was putting stuff away. I would actually prefer not to use my, you know what, I do. I really don't like to use my 12s if I don't have to. That's the reason why I buy the 8.5 by 11 paper. If you watch them, they'll go on sale. Everything has a trend between Michael's and Joann's. If you follow the trends, you'll know. So I'm just on the other side here looking for black. And I think that's what I meant to buy, and I ended up buying a bunch of craft paper. I just don't need craft. That's brown. We don't want brown. Yep, I guess I'll have to. That's not my intention. Do I have any black here? No, it's all blues. I have lots of blues and reds and pinks, not so many pinks. Definitely a lot of brown, but I guess I'll have to go back to the 12 by 12. See, every time I go to the store, I'm like, try to remember. So here I thought it was craft paper, which I ended up stocking up on that the last time I was thinking it. And so I usually do that because I like to save my 12 by 12s for layouts or altered or multimedia. So we know how big dory, we're going to know exactly how big dory is because we're going to measure dory. That's going to help you with the size of your card. So dory, and of course, if you look at your self-cutting mat, each one of those squares here, the 4x4s is 1 inch, and each one of those little squares is 1/4 of an inch. So if you were to measure that way, if I pull you down here and look, you want to go off of this, not done. Down here, so we got Dory is easily, let's pull this the way I want to look at it. Dory is easily just over 5 inches tall and over a 4 1/4. So I'm thinking a 5x7 card. So if I'm doing a 5x7 card, I have to cut this down. Let me put my glitter glue over. I definitely know we'll come back to that. I'll tell you why, because it just came to me what I can use it for. So a 5x7 card, it has to be at least 10 inches wide by 14. But that also depends on how you do this. It could be 14 this way or however you want to do it. So Dory, as you can see, is obviously, even though that it's this way, that's a whole different ballgame. So do 5x7. So I'm going to cut this, and that's going to be my basics. I could make it bigger, but a 5x7 card is quite sizable. Now this is 5-inch mark right here. So if it was anything bigger, then I am pretty sure, and we'll end up probably doing, we're going to do a flip. Do a flip. I'm definitely thinking it'd be a flip card. Rather than a side. No, I want to flip because I haven't done one of those in a little while. So we're going to do 5x7. Let's see if I'm doing this right. Yeah. 5. I'm going to snip it. And if I'm wrong, we're wrong. But it's all about having fun. So we know that Dory is going to fit this way. Now the easiest way, and I always tell people, you can always exact it out. If you don't have a scoreboard, of course, I always like the texture up top. You can always just, now I have a scoreboard, I can do that. Yes, Justin, you still need your bone folder, or I have told people to use a popsicle stick, but you can do a brief this way and a brief that way, but I highly recommend that you go back over it because of the fact that it needs to be a tighter edge. So even though I have the bone folder, you guys know that, I'm going to use a popsicle stick so you guys can see. So we already have your basics. And I teach this because you can do both ways. So we have the perfect card one way or another. And I'm always one of those people that anal, I still go back with my nails. So we know Dory's going to fit on this card. Now, if she pops out a little bit, that's just fine. It gives dimension to Dory. So I'm going to try and see if we have enough in yellow. And I'm probably going to pop it a little white. And I think yellow should be the big one in the back. Again, yes, buddy. So if it's a 5x7, then we need to go down a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and somewhat cut this so I can get rid of some of this excess. Make sure it's level at the end. Put this piece over. And cut off the little extra edges. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this down here. This was left over from Father's Day Yoda Man with Yoda. Okay, so we have this piece. Now, I'm not really worried about the ruffled here a little bit. So if it's 5x7 piece of paper, we're going to have to go down a 1/2 inch to get just that edging. Again, you can go smaller. So if it's already a 5x7, and if you were to measure that card again, it is a 5x7. Is it 5x7? It might be shorter. Just want to make sure. So it is a 6x5. So if it's a 6x5, we want to go 4.5. Let's go 4.5. And it's a 5.5, which is happens to be right here. Actually, I have a nick on that one because I didn't trim it all the way. So we're going to go back up. So I'm totally digging it. Because I want the white to be on the inner side. Again, this is from decorations that you have from a party. Or if you don't have a lot of money, just recycle what you got. So now that was 5 by 6. So that was 4.5 by 5.5. So I would need, better cut my width for, it was 4 inches on this one now. Yes. So 4 inches. Now again, still sprout. And 4 by 5. So 4 by 5. I'm thinking, I think too much. If this is too skinny, which it probably slightly is, but it's all right. But again, I want Dory to pop anyway, just looking at it. Got that whole metallic holographic behind it. So I'm thinking 5.5 by 4.5. So 4 inches by 5 inches. Wow, I got it. I'm getting tired and Justin's distracting me. So now I can always use the flip side of this one from the inked. So I'm going to go ahead and tack this down. Normally I would wait until I had all of them, but the kitty cat's getting restless. And I don't need them to jump down. And the white is just being used as an accent. Now I'm only going to go down, not a 1/2 inch. I think I'll go down a 1/4 of an inch because I just want a little bit of that edging. But guys, I don't know what I'm doing until I start doing it. So, and again, this paper gets very, very expensive. So you want to be very lenient with it. And trust me when I say I save every bit of this as I can. So we're at 5 by 6. And then we went 4.5 by 5.5. And I am wanting to have the waves this way. So if you're looking at it, you want this way to be cut first. Just so you guys know. And I did 4 inches before. I'm only going to do 3 3/4 because I only want a slight white edge. So you guys know you can always reinforce it by what you're doing. And it's not coming out the way I want. So again, I hate cutting it that way, but you know, hey, that looks a lot better. Okay, got to deal with it however it comes out. You're going to watch the metallic foil type paper because it will slip on you. No wonder he was itchy because he needed to go bath. He does not like coming into the bathroom. And I apologize if you hear him because poor baby is going to get stuck in this room again. See, one thing about perforated edges for a pack drives me crazy. So I like that one better. I like it much better. Look better this way or this way? Does it really matter? I guess it doesn't. So that's 4. We're going to go 3/4. See how that goes. This is why you want to try to be careful on what you do. It just look a little off, so I'm going to try to even them. Again, because it is metallic paper, it will slide when you cut it. So I can already see if I line it up that it's slightly off. So I guess I can be a little OCD. That one looks more of a straight edge right there. I kind of like that one better. I don't want to cut too much because I want to keep it consistent. Okay, so I should sharpen that up because the illusion is in the paper. It'll screw with you when you're working on it. Now it feels a little too long. Those waves are screwing with my head. And I'm epileptic, so it's not really funny. So I think it's the sides. Again, it's a holographic paper, which is going to screw with me. You can measure it out exactly, but again, it is a metallic paper. So it will screw with your eyes no matter what. I don't know about you guys, but it's kind of screwing with my eyes. Well, that's good enough. I'll put the other papers over because Dory's going to end up going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on because I want to put Dory on because we're going to start making Dory fluffy, three-dimensionalized. I'm trying to stay a little quiet. That's the reason why I have the headphones on, because my husband goes to work very early in the morning. He'll be up here shortly. Okay, so that looks pretty darn good to me. Like the waves in the water. And Dory's going to pop out of it. I want her more over here. And I actually do not mind her fin sticking out, but I'm going to roll it. I don't want it to bend. Or roll it. Normally with like curling ribbon, you would curl it with scissors, but you just want to roll it with your fingers to give that little pop to it. Now I actually want to pop dot her. I see where my pop dot stickers are. Normally I could reach it, but again, still working on final placement of everything. This is what's helping me by doing these videos. I have some pop dots right here. Scotch. You guys can actually buy the scrapbooking one, but I paid less and get more when I buy other name brands, or the same name brand, but regular ones, because you can always stack them up. You guys can see mounting tape. Now I'm going to slightly protect this tail. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I want it popped up, but I don't want it to, I'll show you what I'm saying. So we want it to pop up. I'm going to peel that off, and I'm going to put a couple of them on. You can always get the thicker ones. I just don't see the point. So this way the tail will be up higher, but yet should not bend. Now, I don't know if I want to do, I'm not going to make sure, because I really don't like the idea of them being curled. The fins down here are super more delicate because it doesn't have as much support with it being open in the middle. All right, so Dory's tail will actually pop up with the pop dots, mounting tape, mounting squares. So even though it's not bent, you can see where the coloring is here. So it'll actually look like it, but it won't be. I need to get done and put the yellows completely to bed. To the ladies who follow me on Facebook, the ones who won the weekly and monthly prize, not the challenge. Ladies who won the challenges have already chose their prizes. So I will go through that stuff in the morning. And I don't want it totally over. Weirdly, I'm usually pretty anal about making sure it's even. Now with me doing 3 of them here, it's now popped up. Now she's popped up. So you guys can see that. I don't know if I have, I might or might not. I might have ribbon. I got ribbon for almost everything. Don't you know right now, and I don't really want to look. So I think Dory looks pretty good the way it is, at least for now. And I am going to go ahead. Now I could pop that a little bit more for the card if I wanted to give it more dimension, which I think would be kind of cool. It's all about constantly coming up with things. Now this would probably be better off using the tape. Let me see if I have my tape over here, because I usually keep foam tape when it comes in strips and I want it up a little bit. It's a lot faster. Nope, not there. I'd have to look in the drawer over here, which I know I have something. If not, I'll be really disappointed. That's heat bond. That's not it. I have different drawers with all kinds of special tape. Oh, the red tape. I use it on very rare occasions because for me to take that off, sometimes it pulls my damn nail. Okay, well, I guarantee it's in one of these boxes because I always keep that stuff for sure. So we'll just go with the mount squares. You just have to use more of them. I prefer to use the tape on that and do like every 1.5 inches. Make sure you put a couple in the middle. I actually offset them. It's not rhyme or reason. Just put them on. And this is why I don't buy the other name brand. Even the Scotch is a name brand. And why I normally use the tape. There was a 99-cent store that opened over by my old house that we sold. And they were going out of business. And they had big rolls of foam tape. I actually gave some out in prizes. They had them, get this, for $0.25 a piece. I bought like 15 of them. Gotta. Now, all this is going to do is going to pop this up from that. Instead of using the regular HEG gun, it's just going to give you a little bit more dimension, which could be good because I can have a lot more fun. Probably shouldn't have chose this one for my last card. I probably should have done it first because for the ideas I'm getting in my freaking head, it's going to get really detailed, which this is what happens when I start thinking, and I probably should tell me to stop thinking because I think too much. Because I'm thinking of all the different ways to make this more of a three-dimensional card. And there's a problem with that when you're mailing cards, because I've had cards that I have custom designed for people and cost me up to $4 or $5 just the mail, and it has nothing to do with my supplies. But again, those are my Christmas card list. I tell you something. My cards are expensive to mail. I never make 2 cards the same unless somebody custom orders it. I get bored. And my Christmas cards, I got one here. Actually, I'll probably wait until closer to Christmas because that one with the snowflakes I'll definitely do. Any card between now and the time I have my craft show, I'll just sell. Okay, so this is going to flip this way because Dory's already that way. So you have to make sure that you're the opposite. You want to be at the open flap. And that wants to move on me. The wind, the air. Alrighty, where you at, Dory? There we go. So it doesn't give much dimension, but it does give enough. So I'm going to take the scraps pieces here, put them over in the trash. So Dory, you would think is done, but no, we're not going to let Dory be alone. We're going to give some seaweed. I kind of like the idea of like moving that one a little bit that way. I'm going to put some like coral in it. So I'm going to use my glue pen. And I'm going to line that up a little bit on this side. Wait, this is the dimensional side. No, I don't want dimensional side. Not for this. So I know I'm going to have to go along this side. And I'm just going to go in so many spots. Even if only half of them catch or in the right spot, it's okay because it's going to catch. You don't want it to be so gluey. This is the fun part, and quiet. Would you please leave him alone, Jeffrey? I am live on YouTube, Jeff. My son's being a brat, wanting to mess with the dogs and cats. He wants to try to mess me up. He's sitting over here chuckling and laughing. My son has Asperger's, so he thinks it's always funny. Okay, so it's drying a little bit because I didn't put a lot on. It was more dots, but I want to kind of angle it where it looks like it's moving. And just hold it for a second, and I don't want to worry about cutting it right off the back. Like I said, if you glue it on both sides, but you don't know where it's going to catch, it's okay. Give it a second more. This one I'll probably push down a little bit. I'll probably put some down behind it. This is all I have on scraps, so I really don't want to go out of my way to cut or make more because I just want to use my scraps and whatever else that I find. Now this one, I'm going to put underneath it. The one thing about this punch that I dearly love, because you can make it look like vines, you can use them as stems. I have used it for seaweed. So really digging this. I hope you guys are too. I'm not boring. I am not Bob Ross. Bob Ross was not funny. Okay, how many of you guys out there have seen Sharknado? And if so, your thoughts? Because I know the first one I really thought was just corny. And technically they all are, but it's just the parody in all of them. And the Easter eggs to different shows and the characters. It's just funny how actors just line up for them. But seeing Ian still, he's not as hot as Luke Perry was in 90210. I'm going to try to put this on both sides of Dory's face. So it looks like it's popping out a little bit. Pull it over to the side because I don't want it to stop edge. I don't like the stop edge idea. I like to cut it at the edge. So I'm going to pull that down a little bit. And again, if it doesn't totally stick to it, that's okay because then you get dimension. Because this one's now dry. Give that a second to dry. Push down a little bit. Oh, she's starting to come together, huh? Maybe just do the front tonight. Maybe we'll do the inside with another card tomorrow. Suggestion on projects, theme of projects. I am taking a day of the week because I work for the Tampa Bay Bucks, but we don't have a home opener. I work the 2 preseason games until the 17th September. So as my husband's watching too much football, because I do love football, but after working them, I have come to not be very much into them as much as you think. Okay, so I'm looking through my scraps. Oh, sorry. See, that's why I'm going to have to just stop after the cover. I'm going to look at because I always keep all this little stuff in the front. Now, like I have this flower, and I think this flower would be cooler if I take it apart. This flowers that people have made me over the years because I couldn't afford to go buy stamps or flowers. I'll put, if I'm done using all of them, somebody used a brad in this. Don't need the brad, but I have tons of them. pull that brad out. You're going to see what I'm doing. I've done this before, and it just comes out so stinking cool. So the neat thing about this, and these papers, somebody has already inked them. The cool thing about these flowers, that they make fantastic seashells. Right, see, now you're seeing it. These are just scraps for me. Stuff that I will take from my drawers here because I have little drawers around me, and if I only have one left, or again, I don't throw anything away. Not until I'm like, okay, that's just too much. So now I have a piece of coral or seashell down here. Give it a second to dry up in there. And the person who gave me that might recognize it. I have all these different colors over here. I don't want to go hog wild on flowers or on coral. For the colors, because I do not want to be exactly the same all the way around. Now again, the edges, if they're not perfect, we can cut them at the end. That's not even my worry. I know if I was doing this during the day, I'd have a lot more people following, but it's okay. They'll catch us later. I'll pull that down. Again, it's okay if it comes down. It's better to have it over the edge where you can trim it later. I don't want to put any more on that because I don't want to make it so exact. And that has to do with me, actually. It's going to drive me crazy either way. I'm looking at this one, whether I can use it. I saved all my scraps. You guys should see this. I don't know if I'm going to use this one, but we'll find out. And this is just the flower paper ones because I have actual paper flowers, and I have flat backs. I'll probably pull some because I have some in the drawer here. And if they're screwy in the middle, it's okay because I have stuff that I can fill it with. This is why I love my scraps. And I used to love when people sent me their scraps and their little junk drawer stuff, because to me it was a challenge. And I personally love the challenge. Now, see, these aren't coming off the way I want, so that's fine and dandy too. So I'm going to cut these petals. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut these petals off. Gave me an idea. See, good becomes bad. Just take a few of them. Just a few. I'm going to put one over here. Just a few because I don't want to do too much. I'm starting to feel like I sound like Bob Ross. Hello. No, I don't think so because I actually just sound boring right now. I know I do. So I maybe put one more up here just to put some color. I don't want to make it too girly either. It is kind of dory, so. I know I have the tweezers. Okay, so maybe I'll put one little petal over here. I'll blend it in. Watch if I don't blend it in yet. I don't like the edge of that one. All right, so that one I don't think I can get any more out of. So that one is done. Okay, what else can I put? Okay, I have you guys know what junk drawer is of your stuff that you're working with. That's what I'm pulling from. And I have black pearls, but here, let's go with something. If not, I just go pull something new. I'm looking. I have all these little drawers full of stuff that I sit here. I see a sequence, what gives me an idea, but that looks more like bubbles. Into my second little drawer here. Oh, well, that'll work. That's something. Don't know if it'll stay on with regular glue, but I do have my Glossy near me. I swear by Glossy accent, guys. I really do. Like one of those. I have a couple of them here. I have 3 left. Let's go with those. That's something. Of course, I think I need something green too, and maybe some blues. Okay. Those are inks that far down. What's in here? What's in your wallet? Oh, that was so funny. The guy from Subway commercial in the last one, I was cracking up. It was so funny. I don't know. Maybe I'm not so funny, but my husband always says I don't have a sense of humor, but yeah, I can make him laugh. Okay, so I need the Glossy, and this probably won't be. Well, I don't know where my Glossy is. I don't know why. It's probably in that. Oh, yeah, I know it's in the other one. So let's see if my E6000 will work. I always need a tester on it. So let me see if I can find a piece of paper to test on. That's a little scrap piece. No, that's foil. I swear I do not like using my foil at all. That's good. What is this? Make sure. Yep, there we go. Because I always test it first. Okay, so where do we want to put that? Let's put one here. One over here. Put one down here. There's only 3 of them, so I don't know where my Glossy is right now. I have an idea where it's at because I haven't got to that box, and that's usually my last stuff. I'm just sticking. V6000 work take a little bit longer to dry, but it will never move again. I tell you some lame jokes, but I don't think you really want to hear them. I have them. Okay, so it's still dimensioning. It's gaining speed. So what else? What else did I say? I don't want to do everything more flat back. Sticker gems. Woohoo! And they're right by me. Yeah, there's my glasses. So let me turn my sticker gems around. How about like these little dewdrop ones? Oh, I'm getting an idea. I know you guys can't see it. I'm sorry. I'm getting ideas. I want to turn around. A lot of little spinner pieces, guys. I'm getting some ideas. I get too many ideas and go, whoa, wait, too much. It'll be too much. I don't want to go overboard. No, I gotta reach the top of my spinner. Oh, this is cute. I got an idea for that. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. I know, I'm kind of quiet. Sorry. Catching waves. Ooh, this is good. That's good. I like that. I forgot I had those. We'll use those too. See, it's a good find. I'll show you. Okay, so this is what I was thinking. There's beach bums surfing up. Surfs up, summer fun, catching waves, seaside, dewdrops, and these. And I thought this was cute because I was thinking, oh, they look like fish. So it could be like the school of fish in the back. Don't have to put a lot, just enough to where you can slightly see them. I am totally boring you guys. That's why you're all leaving on me again. I'm going to put little fish back here. I'm just going to randomly put them in here because they do kind of look like a sea of fish or school of fish. The nice thing about it being a Pop Dot mounting, You can slightly move it. If it'll come out, I don't know if it will. It's stuck to it. So I'm just going to keep working. Maybe I should just shut up and you guys watch me. Do you prefer me to be more quiet or explain as I go? As I do these videos again, just let me know. It's like a schooner fish, right? Is this what they call them? Schooner? And they can step out a little bit over the edge. Probably unnecessarily, but yeah, all cards are unnecessary. Right? Oh, yeah, I have it, and it's scrapped, so it's costing me as some stuff I already had. Maybe it'll look stupid. Maybe it'll look cool. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. Well, they come in waves. I don't want it to be totally round Dory all over, but maybe like swirling behind her head. Because this is like that little light blue. This one didn't want to move. This one moved. You ain't going anywhere, buddy. You're going to stay with the rest of the damn clan. Almost done with them, I think, because I think it's already starting to be overkill a little bit. But again, these are Studio Gs anyway. This is where my tweezers would come in handy. Put one. Well, you know, I don't want to put one down by art because I think it'll be too much. So I was looking at maybe a few of these, but again, I'm afraid it might go too much, so I might have to go with more of the tear up of flowers. I've already cut some of these or taken some of these. And let's put one of these in the middle of that tear up flower. See, it comes together. Hard to look at and see what color they actually are sometimes. I have a little pink in there. We already have a lot of blue. Technically, Dory's got purple on her. So we'll just stick a few in there. Some of the hair in there. You like little pearls. Maybe one up here. That's a little gold yellow, so it blends in. I'm going to stop at that one because of the fact that I don't have any more on this sheet. There's more on the other, but I don't want to take them off. This was my scrap sheet. Oh, you're just popping off everywhere, aren't you? I'll be going to bed. My husband be like, shh, what you sticky for? What do I feel? So, some of you went to bed on me. That's alrighty. It's gonna get this in. If it doesn't get it done on this shot, then oh, it did. Then what? Then I would have just stuck it over. Wait until I woke up. See? All right, so I need something to fill in right there. Trying to think what I could, maybe just a phrase. I think the phrase that we were looking at earlier, I think that'll work for right here, which is the one that says, may someone be as kind to you as you are to them, and thank you very much. So I'm going to do a quick fussy cut on it so that I don't have to take the whole. So I'll probably edge it anyway. That way I don't have to take it out now. See, I don't need this. And I will finish off the inside with you guys tomorrow, but I'm going to finish the front right here. And I don't think it's going to need any kind of glitter glue. So what I'm going to do, since this is a straight line, it's already there, so I can take advantage of it while it's still there. I'm eyeballing it. You can see where the edge is off. Now it's not. Perfect. See how pretty? Kind of think it needs a little off of this edge. And then again, this is how we're going to end up fussy cutting it again. And then I'm going to go, and I now have a straight line on this side. Take advantage of what I have in front of me. So now, hey, how many of you guys out there have seen the original It? The original It movie by Stephen King's book. I'm curious because I'm dying to know how many people are going to watch it. So I'm going to tuck that down in there when I can get it. So I'm going to push that one down a little bit. Now, of course, I have to have some dimension to that. So let's see. No, blue would be too much. How about just black? Just a little piece of black. Again, we're going to finish Dory tomorrow. Just going to finish the front. And the inside's going to be pretty basic anyway. So, okay. So I'm going against my own rules about taking too much. I know if I go looking at my scrap bin, I'm probably going to shoot myself, but my scrap paper is over there. It doesn't matter if it's off or not, which the paper here is going to have to be put down because I know the boys are going to be jumping. All right, so I'm going to leave that here. I'm going to go ahead. You guys can see it on the edge here. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down or tape it down. And I'm just going to cut and fussy cut with the cutting board because I don't feel like measuring. And I'm going to take the corner because it's already straight. We know that it was the fine corner, the fine paper corner. So those edges I don't have to worry about being perfect. I just need to worry about these two. It's a great thing. If you measure one, this is why it's good. It's always easier to cut more than it is to get ticked off. This is like in cosmetology school. That may not be enough. Looks all right to me. I'm going to cut this one edge here. And that looks pretty good. So it's not perfect, but again, it's a scrap card, and I've already put a lot of work into something that I said I wasn't going to do. Because I'm going to sort of dimensionalize this a little bit. See if I can put it over a little bit. Came out so cute so far, what do you think? Now I also know that this is the flat side, so I'm going to put a pop dot there. Technically it's a pop dot. If you want to look in the scrapbooking world. Let me make sure again. Yep. I'm going to put an extra one. These little dots, these little dewdrop drop stickers would drive me crazy. Get off. Okay. So, tear that. Remember, Dory and the other pieces are three-dimensional. It's already been popped up. So you have to fill in the space if you're going to use it. So I'm going to try to coast my way in a little bit. Get a little dimension. It should line up. Oh, look how cute this came out. Right? It's a little fancy, huh? See, that's pushing down the one leaf. So what do you guys think? I think it looks pretty good. I think I'm going to leave the front at that. And ladies and gents, and can you imagine if you come, I keep thinking about the shark in space. I was laughing. I kept thinking, if you're listening to me, it's because I got into watching Sharknado movies with my husband. I've seen one before, but okay. So this is the scrap front, and all I did was, and this I got in the mail. Basically, used a black piece of paper. All the other paper was already scrap. Dory was, left over from a party. This was already cut. The flowers were scrap. The little gems and stuff isn't, but no big deal. So far that is the card. And tomorrow I will go ahead and do the inside, which will be simple anyway. So far, Dory looks pretty sharp. What do you think? I love it. So let me know what you think below and tell me what you'd like to see next. Themed project, and then again, the football games that and I will announce. Well, I'll go live at least once a week that y'all can pick, and it'll be like a unanimous thing. And we'll go from there, and then I'll just do some shoot by the hip lessons as I go in between. So for those with the Brother machine, stay tuned. I will be getting to you in the next couple days. Bye, guys.